Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, a few things happened. We essentially hear what happened to Inspector Gregson. He was shot in some random room down in Fresno Street, I think it was. And, yeah. Let's see, murder weapon, yeah. So, after hearing about that, we went to do two things. First off, investigate the room where he died. And we found a few things. Of course, we found a framed photograph of Miss Vigil when she was younger, a gun, a policeman figurine, a red hair piece, and the candelabrum, which we assume was behind the inspector when he was shot. And we talked to our suspect for this case, Lord Van Zieks, surprisingly, which, yeah. Anyways, Lord Van Zieks isn't really willing to tell us much anything, so yeah, we're gonna have to find out more about what happened to Lord Inspector Gregson and Lord Van Zieks. So yeah, let's move around and such now. Alright then. The Chief Justice's office where we gotta go? Sorry, I'm just, as I said, but I don't remember if I said this before, but at the very bottom, Susato basically gives you hints. If it says something like, oh, I don't believe you visited this place for some time, then that's where you need to go next. Otherwise, it's just comments about the areas, or even stuff like, I think, you sure we found everything here? Or like that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's basically just hints. You know, I don't know. I kind of like the later Ace Attorney game. Well, I say later. This is later. I like the earlier Ace Attorney games of doing things. This isn't bad, but it's, I don't know. I do like Investigations' way of having you investigate, where instead of just going from menu to menu, you're actually running around the area and investigating. So that's nice. Anyways, to the Chief Justice's office. Also, I noticed when I do my deep and loud voices, the microphone just kind of like blasts out. So I'm gonna try and I guess back up from the mic when that happens, or maybe move the mic back. I don't know. Anyways,
you've made good time.
Ooh, what was his voice again?
I took an express train back to London.
There, we'll make that his voice now. Great, because it's been a while. I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you? Yes. It sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork.
It's Kazuma-sama.
Ah, your timing is impeccable.
It is?
No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry.
Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
I believe only in the facts. And the fact in this case points to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
Oh no, surely not.
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes.
So does that mean the trial is tomorrow?
Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions.
Kazuma. Alright, 4:08, okay, good. 4:48, okay, I'm just checking something for the time.
But of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution.
Wait. What? Kazuma...
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama... a prosecutor? Why did they just have him haphazardly standing in the background like that? Okay. Alright.
I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock.
Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent.
That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least, until now. No. Tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history.
Okay. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow?
That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. But he's been studying under a prosecutor, technically.
Accomplished law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense.
Isn't that unfair?
A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong person.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? Why?
It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
Nah, that's more Van Zieks' voice, isn't it? I'll figure it out someday. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as judiciary closing ranks.
So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution?
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Yeah, about that. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile towards me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend. Yes, we noticed there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks?
That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask someone higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No. Gregson had his gun on his person.
What about Lord Van Zieks?
He claims it's currently not in his possession.
What?
According to his story, he lost it.
How do you lose a gun?
In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not.
Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. How do you lose a gun? This isn't just something where you're like, oh, I just put it down somewhere and forgot. No, it's something you usually have on you, so how exactly do you lose a gun? Whatever. Anyways, is there anything else we need to look for? Oh, yeah, here. I guess we need to talk to Kazuma?
I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right.
Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart.
Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery.
Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Before you go, Ryunosuke.
Oh, what is it, Kazuma?
I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was you, Georgium, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh.
I actually have a favor to ask.
Which is?
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me. As the defense counsel.
Why? What's all this about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
Yeah, there. I want Cosmo's voice to have like some emphasis, you know, like he's. Well, I'm not saying he is someone important, but like it's like someone you listen to, you know. Anyways, I think that's what I'll do for Cosmo. I'm sorry if it doesn't sound too different from my normal voice, but whatever. Anywho, I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma? Alright. Time to move.
To the prison.
First of November, local prison, cell 1. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter. Yeah, because we literally just left. We've been gone quite some time, though. We have? Huh. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. Or he just wants to read it multiple times to be sure he's reading what he's reading. I might even be able to read English faster than he can.
I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Is that allowed? Yes, we hear that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you.
In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Kazuma Asogi.
Asogi?
That made the color drain from his face. Yeah, imagine that. The guy who killed your big brother, his son gets to prosecute you, potentially killing you. How ironic.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. "10 years ago, my elder brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign his trial to someone like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is due Nipponese.
Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. I'd only just been appointed as prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi. Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So, I lost everything. Wait, did I skip something? Oh no, okay. So, I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor's case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he is the one person to whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed. Then, earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah, and of all things, as a lawyer. So that's why he got so angry. I felt your animosity till the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why. Now I know the history. But, in the same way that I've long felt the Japanese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. That's what he came to do? Yeah? You know, I really and truly wonder what exactly would have happened if everything was, if the entirety of Case 2 of the first game didn't happen. If Kazuma didn't get knocked out. Like, what exactly would happen here? Would we just come to London and then had cases with Kazuma and Ryunosuke and Susato, and then we'd have him, I don't know. You know what? I think I'm gonna ask Bing AI for this and see, because I don't know. Anyways, Inspector Gregson. Gregson's transfer to the Paris police prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Ah, yes. Come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internally, I mean. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh. The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself. by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my! 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations had made him determined it was necessary. His powerful convictions somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. I don't have confidence in anyone. Oh. And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I have no doubt he thought of me as only the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? How about the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene? Ah, yes. That's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That, I don't know. Oh. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So, it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Alright. I guess what, do we just show him the picture? Do we show him again? I mean, no, nothing, okay. Alrighty then. By illegal means, but you're not prosecution technically, so... Anyways. Let me see, I guess we just show this. Lord Van Zieks. We came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes. That's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Wait. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as a stone-cold reaper of the Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. He knows my name? I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized, and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of the mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I have protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, would you advocate for me? Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then, my life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let that man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. Whew. Wow, that was good. Let's see, which save file do we pick now? Wait, how many save files are there? 20, okay. I don't know why you would need 20 save files when you can just replay missions, but meh. Anyways. Where am I here? So 5 is the one we're going to start saving at. There it is. Trial part 1, okay, nice, great. The 2nd of November, 8:56 a.m. Down Bailey, defendant's antechamber. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from the ordinary.
What do you mean?
I am not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected.
Huh? No jury? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
A closed court, because the Reaper of the Bailey is famous. Ha!
Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruto? An outright victory for science, miss, you must agree.
To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem.
Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you have only yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim.
And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever.
Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you.
What an honor. And what would that be?
Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind, my own.
What are you trying to say?
I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Who said that? Oh, those two. Gina. What's that in her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Yeah. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see what our country's up-and-coming student in action.
I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Haha, yeah. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Otto. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that. Yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Fiery eyes indeed.
Yes,
the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Huh?
At least, that may be some solace to the deceased.
Please, Otto. Get whoever did this, for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So, you got to find who done this and Make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once.
Alright then. Here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who hoped to escape destitution. And was basically a mentor to her. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. No, okay. Alright. Yeah, there really is no one here.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Barrett Van Zieks. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than the Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions throughout the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present. By Her Majesty's direct orders.
Actually, think about it now. We're in London. We're in London. We're involved in, maybe not involved in legislation, but we're part of like judiciary. How come we don't see the Queen? How come we never heard of the Queen? How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration and education falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who's currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness the proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary? Oh my! This is a very unusual trial already.
Oh, oops. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma?
Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. Alright. I think this is the best place to end off for now. Because we're getting started with the trial. I don't want to get too deep into it. We're already like 45 minutes in, so I don't really want to get too deep into the trial, so yeah. Sorry if you guys were hoping, but yeah. So, next time, yeah, next time we are going to listen to Sogi's opening statement and, yeah, see where that goes. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.